Lesson 2-4, solving equations with variables on each side. And we need to understand that there are going to be different situations that can happen when you have variables on both sides that don't necessarily happen when you have a single variable, or if we have, one step or two-step problems. This is multi-step. So we have this situation where we have variables on both sides and constants on both sides. So what we want to do first is we want to always move the variables. We want to consolidate. Always consolidate variables first. It will make it a little bit easier in the sense that you won't run into these very interesting situations that can happen. So we're going to move the variables, so we can either move them to the right or move them to the left. If I move them to the right and subtract 7c, we'll end up with a negative variable, and I don't want to. I want to try to end up with a positive variable. So I'll get rid of the negative 4c by adding 4c to both sides. That leaves me with 11c plus 12 equals 78. We'll subtract 12 from both sides. That's 11c equals, and that's 66. Divide by 11. We get c equals 6, and that'll be the solution. Again, variables on both sides. I'm going to move my variable. It's advantageous to end up with a positive coefficient. Doesn't matter, you can end up with a negative, but once we start involving negatives, kids tend to start forgetting, dropping negatives and stuff like that. So we have 10m minus 13 equals 27. Now this is a two-step equation. We'll get rid of the things being added and subtracted first. 10m equals 40, divide by 10, and m equals 4. Number 3, okay, same thing. I'm going to subtract 2x. That's 7x minus 4 equals 3. We'll add 4. 7x equals 7. Divide by 7. X equals 1. And we want to be at this point where we can do these problems this efficiently. So notice that we're able to do it. We're not wondering. We're not guessing on what the next steps are. We are very proficient at this. We understand what goes on, how we move things, what it's going to look like. I'm going to subtract 3t. 6 equals 5t minus 14. We'll add 14 to both sides. 20 equals 5t. Divide by 5. We get 4 equals t. And notice my variable's consolidated on the right side. Doesn't change anything, doesn't make anything easier or harder. All right, I like this one. So there's a number of ways that we can do this. One way is we know that these are fractions, and we can utilize the cross product, that the product of these two should be equal to the product of these two. And we have multiple variables, so that's why we want to get rid of this fraction. So we can do 6 times b equals 2 times the quantity b minus 4. We need those parentheses. When we multiply these two, it's 2 doubling both of those things. That gives me 6b equals, we're going to distribute 2b minus 8. 2 times b is 2b. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Now we still have variables on both sides. So we're going to move the variables. 4b equals negative 8. Don't forget about that negative. Divide by 4. b equals negative 2. We again have this. So we are going to cross product is the easiest, nice, efficient way. In doing this, we have 3 times 3v plus 12 equals 6 times 4v. That makes 9v plus 36. 3 times 3v is 9v. 3 times 12 is 36 equals 24v. 6 times 4 is 24v. We're going to move the 9v over. 36 equals 15v. We're subtracting. And now we're going to divide by 15, divide by 15. And I like this problem because it's 36/15 equals v. Most students forget to simplify. You must simplify all answers, all fractions. So what goes into 36 and 15? 3 goes into it. So we'll reduce that by 3, and you get 12/5. And 12/5 is an acceptable answer. That is simplified. 12/5 is simplifying. Converting it to 2 2/5 is not simplifying. That would be converting it. It's a format. This is an improper fraction, which is an acceptable format. You have mixed numbers like 2 2/5, which is an acceptable format. And then you have 2.4, which is another, that's a decimal format, which is also acceptable. So we're just going to leave this. We don't have to do any more work. It's unnecessary for us to keep going. So just leave it. It's correct. You're at the finish line. So we're going to 2r plus 12 equals 4r plus 16. We're going to move the variables. 2r. You get 12 equals 2r plus 16. We're going to now move the constants. That's -4 equals 2r. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. -2 equals r. So distribution. Now, just to let you know, there is another tricky way you could have done this. And this works in this specific situation. If you divide by 2, divide by 2, you would get r plus 6 equals 2 times the quantity r plus 4. And then r plus 6 equals 2r plus 8. You're going to minus r. 6 equals r plus 8. Minus 8 minus 8. -2 equals r. Same answer, but that's just another way of doing it. Not a lot of students would use this, but because these are factors of each other or multiples of each other, it works. Here's another example, but we'll just use the distributive property. 6 times n is 6n. 6 times 5 is 30. 3 times n is 3n. 3 times 16, well, I know it. When I have 3 times 16, that's just like 3 times 10 plus 6. So that gives me 30. This gives me 18, so it would be 48. 3 times 16 is going to give me 48, so plus 48. I don't need a calculator. I was able to do that product, an unfamiliar product, right? I know 3 times 12, but I don't know what 3 times 16 is. So I'm going to move my variables. 3n plus 30 equals 48 minus 30. 3n equals 18 divided by 3. N equals 6. Good. So when we distribute, we have the parentheses. We're only going to distribute into the terms that are inside it. This -7 is not affected by it. So we have 5g plus 40 minus 7 equals 117 minus g. We always want to simplify before we start moving variables. Simplify completely. We can combine those. That's 5g plus 33 equals 117 minus g. We're going to move our variables. 6g plus 33 equals 117. Now we'll move our constants. 6g equals, that's 4, and that's going to be 84. Divide by 6, divide by 6. G equals, so 6 goes into 84, goes in once. Bring down the 4, goes in 14 times. Again, I didn't need a calculator. I'm able to do all of this knowing my times tables. All right, we are going to, this will be important, we're going to distribute the negative 4/5. You have to include that sign. So we're going to distribute that into the parentheses. So it's 12, because that's unaffected. Negative 4/5 times x is negative 4/5 x. Negative 4/5 times 15. Negative 4/5 times 15. 5 and 15 go 3 times. So I'm going to get negative 12. So minus 12 equals 2/5 x plus 6. And we are going to simplify. 12 and negative 12 cancel to make 0, leaving with negative 4/5 x. 2/5 x plus 6. We'll subtract 2/5 x, subtract 2/5 x. That is negative 6/5 x equals 6. And we're not going to divide by a fraction. We know that the reciprocal of multiplication is not only division, but multiplying by the reciprocal. The inverse of multiplying is division, and it's also multiplying by the reciprocal. So you're going to do that to both sides. These cancel. Any number times its reciprocal equals 1. That leaves us with positive 1. Negative times negative is positive. This 6 in the denominator is going to cancel with the 6 in the numerator, leaving us with negative 5. I again want to reiterate the importance of familiarity. When you see a big problem like this, we're not pausing, we're not unsure of the work that we're doing. We're very specific, and we get it done in a timely manner and accurate. So we wouldn't be able to divide both of these by 3 because these are not common factors. So that's the other reason why we don't do this. But it's just easy, efficient. 9m minus 6 equals 6m plus 6. So we're going to move the variables. That's going to give me 3m minus 6 equals 6. We'll add 6 to both sides. 3m equals 12. Divide by 3. M equals 4. 6 times 3a, 6 times 1. That's going to be 18a plus 6 minus 30 equals 6a minus 12. We're going to simplify the sides, make sure that they like terms are combined. 6a minus 12. We're going to move my variables. 12a minus 24 equals negative 12. Add 24, add 24. 12a equals 12. Divide by 12. And a equals 1. All right, this is nice. This is pretty easy, straightforward. 3n plus 6 equals negative 9 minus 6. 3n equals negative 15. Divide by 3. N equals negative 5. Distribute. We're getting real good at these. Now you should be much more familiar with it. Negative 10r plus 30. Negative times a negative is a positive. Let's move the variables. I'm going to move it this way to give me a positive coefficient. 2r plus 30 minus 30, minus 30. That gives us negative 78. That's a weird one. Divided by, or equals 2r, divide by 2, divide by 2. Negative 39 equals r. And 15, ooh, I like this one again. This one's always tricky. It's always tricky because students forget that negative when we're distributing. So it's negative 3 times w, negative 3 times 4. So that's 5 minus 3w minus 12 equals w minus 7. Simplify the sides. We're going to combine 5 and negative 12, which gives us negative 7. And now we're going to move the 3w over. Negative 7 equals 4w minus 7. Add 7, add 7. 0 equals 4w. You're not done. It's important that you continue to simplify. We got to get rid of this 4 by dividing by 4. And 0 over 4 is equal to 0. So your answer can be 0. That is the number when plugged in that makes this equation work. We again are going to distribute a negative 5. So 2x minus 5x plus 15 equals 2x minus 20. Let's simplify. Negative 3x plus 15 equals 2x minus 20. Let's add the 3x. 15 equals 5x minus 20. Add 20. You get 35 equals 5x. Divide by 5. 7 equals x. And you should be able to look at this problem and I could point to any place and you should be able to take over and continue this problem. You should be able to know what my steps are and know how to do it. All right, now we're into the word problems. Love it. So, number 17 says, in the 2010 Winter Olympic Games, the United States won one more than 4 times the number of gold medals France won. The United States won 7 more gold medals than France. Write and solve an equation to find the number of gold medals each country won. So, as we see, I just read the problem. I want to read it and understand it. The United States won one more than 4 times the number of gold medals France won. Right? And solve the equation to find the number of gold. All right, so United States, U.S., won one more than 4 times the number of France. So 4 times F plus 1 would equal the U.S. gold medals. And the United States, U.S., equals 7 more than France. So F plus 7. So these are the same. So U.S. won this, U.S. won this, and so they are the same. So U.S. is equal to U.S. Everybody would agree with that. So we're going to take this 4F plus 1 should equal the other U.S. F plus 7. And now we have variables on both sides. So we'll subtract F, which gives us 3F plus 1 equals 7. We're going to minus 1. 3F equals 6. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. France won 2 gold medals, but that's not what they're looking for. They want to know how much did the U.S., right? And solve an equation, find the number of each country. So France won 2 gold medals. And then we can take either of these equations, either of these. I'll take this one, that's easier. U.S. equals France, which is 2 plus 7. So U.S. won 9 gold medals. And if you plugged into here, 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So notice that the equations both worked. Number 18, Diego's sister is twice his age minus 9 years. So sister equals twice Diego's age minus 9 years. She is also as old as half the sum of the ages of Diego and both his 12-year-old twin brothers. Hi. All right. She is also, so the sister is also half the sum of the ages of Diego and both, so Diego plus both his 12-year-old brothers, and we're taking half of that sum. So these two are equal to each other. So sister should be equal to sister. So we'll do 2d minus 9 should be equal to d plus 12 divided by 2. So let's first simplify each of the sides. We have d plus 24 over 2. Now we can cross product. We can put this over 1 and we can do the cross product like we had done in those earlier problems. That times that should be equal to this times this. And we'll try that. I'm confident with this technique. 2 times 2d minus 9 should be equal to d plus 24, because that times 1 is just d plus 24. So let's distribute. 4d minus 18 equals d plus 24. And let's move the variables first. 3d minus 18 equals 24. Add 18 to both sides. 3d equals 42. Divide by 3, divide by 3. D equals 14. So Diego's age is 14 years old. So Diego is 14. So I'll find the ages of Diego and his sister, and then we can use either one. I think it's easier to just use this. So the sister is 2d minus 9. So twice Diego is 14 years old? 14. Diego is 14 years old. 14 minus 9. So twice is 28 minus 9. So his sister is going to be 18 years old. Okay? Nice, you like? Yeah. Diego. Perfect. Good. 19, the nature. We're going to talk about a little bit about nature. The table shows the current heights and average growth rates of two different species of trees. Write and solve an equation to find how long it takes for the two trees to be the same height. So tree species A, its current height plus its annual growth. Okay, so if it's annual growth, so 4 times the number of years plus 38 inches would give you the height of tree A. And then tree B, so that's going to be A, and tree B is going to be its original height, current height, and then its annual growth is 2.5y plus its original or its current height. Okay? And now it says, how long will it take the two trees to be the same height? So when will A equal B? Well, A equals 4y plus 38, and B equals 2.5y plus 45.5. So let's move the variables just like we do every single time. That's going to be 1.5y plus 38 equals 45.5 minus the 38. Okay, so that's 5. We're going to have to borrow, and that's 7.5 equals 1.5. That's a horrible 1.5. Let's try that again. 1.5y. We're going to divide by 1.5, divide by 1.5, and that gives us y equals 7.5 over 1.5. We're going to move the decimal points to get rid of that decimal, And now we can start simplifying it by 5. So 5 goes into 75 15 times. 5 goes into 15 3 times. And then 15 over 3 equals 5. So y equals 5. So after 5 years, those trees will be the same height. This is what math can do for you. It's a great example of showing you the power of math. Okay? Number 20. A dog weighs 2 pounds less than 3 times the weight of a cat. So the dog weighs 2 pounds less than 3 times the weight of a cat. So 3 cats minus 2 is the dog weight. The dog also weighs 22 pounds more than the cat. So cat plus 22. And the dog should be equal to the dog. So we'll take 3c minus 2. The first situation should be equal to c plus 22. Let's move the variables. 2c minus 2 equals 22. Add 2 to both sides. 2c equals 24. Divide by 2. c equals 12. Number 21. Supplementary angles are two angles with the measure that have the sum of 180 degrees. Complementary angles are two angles with the measures that have a sum of 90 degrees. The measure of the supplement of an angle is 10 more than twice the measure of the complement of the angle. Let 90 minus x equal the degree measure of the complement angle, and 180 minus x equal the degree measure of the supplement angle. Write and solve the equation to find the measure of the angle. Supplementary angles are two angles with measures complementary. Yes, I know that. The measure of the supplement angle is 10 more than twice the measure of the complement. So it says, so the complement equals 90 minus x, and the supplement equals 180 minus x. So the measure of the supplementary angle is, so S equals 10 more than twice the measure of the complement. Twice the complement plus 10. Okay. That's good. And we're good. All right. So now we substitute in for C and S. So we get 180 minus x equals 2. Instead of C, we're going to do 90 minus x plus 10. So 180 minus x equals 180 minus 2x plus 10. Simplify sides. That's going to be negative 2x plus 190. Let's add the x over. Oh, no, let's not. That would have given me a negative. Let's add the 2x. That gives you 180 plus x equals 190 minus 180 minus 180, and x equals 10. Okay, I think write and solve an equation to find the measure of the angle. So complementary angle is going to be 90 minus 10. So the complementary is going to be 80, and the supplementary is going to be, is that still the same? 10? No. Supplementary. I don't think I did that right. That's going to be, so the supplementary is going to be 30. Okay, I think that's right, and solve the equation. I think that's correct. So we'll check that. Let's check that one. That's 21. 21. Question number 21. Nope, that's not where I want to be going. I don't want to be going there. Silly. I want to go here. Let's look at where 0.24. Look at the practice answers. 21. Come on. Here it comes. Extra practice answers, 21. Let's look at 21. Oh, that's not my 21. That's interesting. Okay. Well, that's a little disconcerting. Practice. Oh, that's extra practice. Sorry. Where are my practice answers? Here they are. Sorry. Here we are. 21. Sorry. 21. 10. Okay. X is 10. Yeah. Good. All right. I got it right. X is equal to 10. I like that. We'll sort of not worry about this stuff. That's the important part. I'm just happy I got it correct. 22, geometry. Write and solve an equation to find the value of x so that the figures have the same area. All right, so area of a triangle is going to be base times height divided by 2, and area of a rectangle is just going to be length times width. So we want to know, when do the areas the same? When does area of the triangle equal area of the rectangle? So we'll substitute it in. What is the base? The base is 8 times the height, which is x plus 4 divided by 2, equals the length, which is x plus 6 times the width, which is 3. So we have that problem right there. We can, well, let's simplify it a little bit. 8x plus 32 over 2 equals 3x plus 18. We could do the cross product. That's acceptable. Might not be what I do, but we can do this because this is what we've been working on. So let's cross product. You get 8x plus 32 times the 1, which doesn't change it. And then we have 2 times 3x plus 18. Ooh, that's a big noise. 8x plus 32 equals 6x plus 36. 18 times 2 is 36. Let's move my variables. That is 2x plus 32 equals 36 minus 32 minus 32. 2x equals 4. Divide by 2, x equals 2. So my side length, or my write and solve an equation and find the value of x. So we found the value of x. X equals 2. And we don't know what the unit is, so 2 units. Wow, there's some major honking going on around here. Write and solve an equation to find the value of x so that the figures have the same area. So area again, we have area of rectangle 1 is going to be length times width. Area of rectangle 2 is also going to be length times width. When will area of rectangle 1 equal area of rectangle 2? Length times width. So the length is going to be x plus 5 times the width, which is 9 feet. And the length is x times 15 3/7. Oh. 15 3/7. That's just yuckiness right there. So we have 9x plus 45 equals 15 3/7 x. I'm going to change that. 15 3/7. So 7 times 15, that's 35, that's 105 plus the 3, so that's 108, 8 over 7x. That is so yucky. We're going to minus the 9x. We're going to minus the 9x. Yeah, I should have. Nah, that's silly. I should have. I don't have to change that. And I can go back. I can go back on my work. We see that 15 and 3/7 is actually okay. Sometimes we go down a path and we say, oh, I don't want to do that path yet. So I'm going to borrow, right? I'm going to 3/7, and then I'm going to take 9 for 15, which is going to give me 6 and 3/7. So now we want to convert it to a mixed number, 6 and 3/7 x. So that is the same thing as 45/7 x. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal. 7/45. They're going to cancel numerator and denominator. 7 equals x. And this time they do give us unit. So, right, and so I'm going to find the value of x. X is going to be 7 feet. So 7 feet equals x. 24, write and solve an equation to find the value of x so that the figures have the same area. What? I know what the area of a trapezoid is. So we have area of trapezoid, which equals, well, I like this. B sub 1 plus B sub 2 times the height divided by 2. Area of a rectangle, we already know, length times width. So base 1 is 12 plus base 2 is x times the height times 6 divided by 2 equals 12 times x. Okay, so we're going to make that 72 plus 6x divided by 2 equals 12x. I'm going to cross product because that's what we've been doing today. And that leaves me with 72 plus 6x times the 1, just leaves that. 2 times 12x, which gives you 24x. We're going to minus 6x. 72 equals 18x. Yikes, that's an ugly one. Divide by 18. So 9 goes into both of those. 9 goes into 72. 8 times 9 goes into 8. Oh, no. 4. What's the unit? 4 inches. 4 inches equals x. 4, yeah. That's a weird one. 4 plus 3, yeah. Okay. Solve each equation. State whether the equation has one solution, no solution, or identity. So, in this situation, we're going to see, hey, the variables. If the variables, one solution, if variables don't cancel. And those are the ones that we've been doing. When you move the variables after moving variables, after you move the variables, if you have one solution if the variables don't cancel after moving. If the variables cancel, we'll have infinite, or we call identity, infinite many solutions. Is when the variables cancel. Variables cancel. you produce a true statement, a true number statement. Okay, it produces a true number statement. And then no solution. Your answer is no solution when the variables cancel. And you produce a false number statement. So in this case, we're going to move the variables 6y, and you get -3 equals 3. Notice the variables cancel after you've moved them, and you end up with a false statement. -3 does not equal 3, so my answer is no solution. There is no solution, no number that can make this equation true. That's what these all deal with. So we're going to distribute. You have 1/2 x plus 3. 1/2 of 6 is 3 equals 1/2 x minus 9. So we're going to move the variable. You get 3 equals -9. The variables canceled after moving, and you end up with a false statement. So my answer is no solution. We're going to distribute. So the left side stays left. Distribute this 4. That's 12 plus 8q. We're going to move the variables. That leaves us with 12 equals 12. My variables cancel. I'm left with a number statement. 12 equals 12. That's a true statement. So they want you to use identity, which means all real numbers, which means infinitely many solutions, meaning any number I plug in here is going to make the left side equal to the right side. That's what all that means. Okay? So that means I can pick any number, plug in 1, it'll work, plug in 2, it'll work. It'll always be, the left side will be equal to the right side. It'll be a solution. So 21x plus 21 minus 6x equals 15x plus 21. Let's combine like terms. We're left with 15x plus 21 equals 15x plus 21. Yes, you can make an assumption, but do the math. It takes about 10 seconds to do the math correctly. So yes, but I like showing my work. It doesn't take a crazy amount of time to just do it. That's a true statement. So we call that identity. 12. Oh, we're going to combine those. Sorry, that's going to give me 8y. Let's simplify. 8y plus 48 equals 8y minus 48. We're going to move the variable, minus 8y. We get 48 equals -48. That's not a true, that's a false statement. And so it's no solution. And I can't tell you again, I really need to make this really important to you to understand that the more practice you do, the more confident you are with your answers and solutions and knowing what to do in these situations, that you're not caught off guard, that you know where this problem is going to go, and you know what the possible answers, the realistic answers. We're going to move the variable. And when you get situations where the variables cancel, you know what to expect. You know that it's going to be no solution, or in this case, it's a true statement. So it's going to be identity. And we know what identity means. Identity means that every single number is a solution to this problem. In this example, there is no number that I can plug in. No solution. There is no solution. There is no number that I can plug in for x to make the left side equal the right side. If we go back to here, if we go back to these problems, the variable didn't cancel. And we were left with a variable equaling a value. And this is the only number that plugs in to make the left side equal to the right side. No other number. There's only one solution here. There are no solutions to this problem. And there are an infinite number of solutions to this. Identity doesn't really tell us which, that it's an infinite number, but we know because that's exactly what it is. All right, this is just page 1. Keep working on this. This is important stuff. This is variables on each side.